This is Arise News. We interrupt this program for a live event.
Engage in constructive dialogue, share ideas, and collaborate with the singular goal of transforming Taraba State into a beacon of peace and security, development, and inclusivity. At our last meeting, many of you brought forward invaluable insights, recommendations, and strategies aimed at addressing the pressing challenges that we face as a state. Your contributions span critical areas such as security, economic development, governance, education, and youth empowerment. And today, we are gathered once again to take stock of the progress made, to evaluate ongoing initiatives and chart a forward-looking course that ensures sustainable development and improved quality of life for all Tarabans. Under the leadership of His Excellency Dr. Abu Kefas, Taraba State is undergoing a transformative journey. This administration's steadfast focus on security, economic diversification, social inclusion has already begun to yield positive results. It is through gatherings like this that we can ensure every stakeholder has a voice and plays an active role in moving Taraba State forward and shaping the future of our state. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the challenges before us are significant, but so are the opportunities. Together, as a united front of leaders, professionals, traditional rulers, and public servants, we can harness the vast potential of our state to drive impactful change. Collaboration, mutual trust, and dedication will remain the pillars of our collective success. Standing on the authority of His Excellency, the scepter that has been given to me this evening, I once more welcome you to the second interactive meeting of critical stakeholders of Taraba State extraction. At this juncture, it is my esteemed honor to hand over the mic to the Chief of Protocol to carry on the next stage. Once more, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Said so many things about one man, just one governor. As if he has been a governor for decades. That's how you get to know when somebody comes in with vision. They hit the ground and run it. They don't just say it, they hit it and run. Distinguished guests, they talked about youth empowerment. I think that's one of the things he doesn't joke with. Women inclusion, the governor doesn't joke with that. Then talent identifying and talent harnessing and support. The very first day I met the governor was yesterday. Once I just greeted him, told him I'm a comedian. Wow, he was happy. And he gave me a check of 1 million naira. I went to the bank, withdrew the money. As I was about to leave the bank, I woke up. Yes, it was a dream. I agree, it was a dream. But those in support of that dream to come to pass, say aye.
Because you're going to share.
Those against, no, don't worry. The eyes have it. All right, distinguished guests, let me hand over to my sister as he brings up the next item.
All right, of course, because we'll be sharing the money together. All right, this program is being aired live on channel television, Arise TV, FRCN, and Rock FM of Jalingo. Thank you, Your Excellency. As a woman, I always, wherever I go, I always say we want to appreciate you for for giving us 7 commissioners.
Wow.
Yes, 7, you know, when you're talking about including women in his government, he promised, and when he came on board, we have 7 commissioners today. We are so proud of you. Thank you so much for helping the women in your government. All right, our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, your excellencies, it is now time to call on the Star Boy. That's the name we call him, MC Sam. We call him Star Boy. He doesn't waste time at all. You see that normally we are so used to African time. We'll come for a program, we stay till 5. But His Excellency came here, fought on the door until we asked him to come in. He was outside at that 4 o'clock. Please let's put our hands together as we have His Excellency Baba Marayu, the Governor of Taraba State, Dr. Abu Kefas. Thank you so much.
Please be seated. Thank you. Your Excellency, the former governor of Taraba State, the first civilian governor of Taraba State, Reverend Jogi Nyame, former deputy governors here present, distinguished senators and members of the National Assembly, indigenes of Taraba State that are here present, Honorable Minister of Regional Development, Barrister Obamegari Amadu, my brother, Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable John Kizito Bozena, Auditor General of the Federation here represented, honorable members of the Taraba State House of Assembly that are here present, our PDP chairman Alhaji Obaka Bawa and other party chairmen that are here from the state, special advisors, former senators and members of the National Assembly that are here present, federal permanent secretaries that are here, senior military officers, both serving and retired that are here, federal directors, permanent secretaries, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and the good people of Taraba State. Today I stand before you with a heart filled with gratitude and a renewed sense of purpose as we continue this journey of repositioning our great state. Leadership is not about occupying positions, it is about the value we add, the courage we show, and the sacrifices we make to move forward. In this leadership position that I find myself, I remain committed to these sacred responsibilities, knowing that leadership requires wisdom, courage, and sacrifice to reposition Taraba for a brighter future. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us reflect on where we are coming from. Taraba has faced immense challenges, from economic hardship to insecurity and underutilized resources. These challenges have tested our resolve but have not diminished our potentials. And that is why we are here today. Together we have made giant strides, but there is still much more ahead of us, because from the onset of my administration, we are focused on laying the solid foundation for progress. Through deliberate actions aimed at transforming our state. One of our key steps One of our key steps forward has been engaging with reputable partners like the Chinese or China Engineering Construction Company, CCECC. This partnership aligns with our vision to build critical infrastructures, opportunities, and enhance economic activities and create jobs for our people. Now at the Dambaba Sunte Airport in Jalingo, significant progress is being made to enhance infrastructure and operations, paving the way for improved connectivity and economic opportunities. The runway will soon be open for operations. Furthermore, I want to sincerely appreciate our elder statesman, General T.Y. Danjuma, for his support and commitment to our state. His efforts in reviving and personally building an additional airport in Kashimila will create vital access and economic links that will benefit generations to come. Through ongoing dialogue, we are assuring that these collaborations deliver long-term value for Taraba. I assure you that every decision we make is driven by the desire to meet your needs and accelerate our state's development. Our good people of Taraba, as we prepare for the 2025 budget, I want to share some insight with you. This budget is being crafted with a focus on sustainability, growth, and inclusivity. We are prioritizing key sectors like education, healthcare, agriculture, and infrastructure, while ensuring that every naira spent contributes to the well-being of our people. Your input is essential as we finalize this fiscal plan, because your voices help to shape the priorities that will guide our future. Fellow Tarabans, beyond this, our journey also requires that every inch of our state is properly governed and effectively covered by appropriate governance structures. This will not only ensure safety of our people, but speed up inclusive development of our state. To this end, we have expanded our collaboration with traditional institutions, security agencies, and local communities to establish joint intelligence networks. We aim to protect every corner of Taraba and ensure it contributes positively to our shared vision. Your Excellencies, distinguished Tarabans, this meeting is a continuation of our stakeholders engagement initiated last year. Back then, we sought your input, and today we return to reaffirm our commitment to listening and working together. Regardless of our differences, this journey belongs to all of us. Taraba is our common heritage, and we must protect and nurture it as one united people. The challenges we face are great, but so also are the opportunities before us. Taraba is not a poor state. I repeat, Taraba is not a poor state. We are blessed with abundant natural resources, fertile land, and resilient people. What we need today is collective determination to discover and harness these gifts. I believe that with unity and collaboration, we can transform Taraba into a modern state, one that inspires pride and confidence in every citizen. As we continue to reposition our state, I must emphasize that progress cannot happen in isolation. Development requires all hands on deck, and I need your feedback your support, and your prayers to achieve our shared goals. My good people, my vision is clear: to unite Taraba under a common purpose where every individual feels valued and engaged in building a prosperous future. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, let me say this: greatness of any leader is measured by their ability to inspire others to act. And the greatness of any people is revealed in their unity and commitment to a shared vision. Let us work together to make Taraba State a place that we can confidently call our own. A state that leads with example. The presentations we are about to listen to will give us insight on what we have been doing so far. Once again, thank you, and may God bless Taraba State. May God bless all of us.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I want to say this is the governor that works more than he talks. I think the governor has presented excellently, and in the presentation wouldn't have made sense to us if we've not seen it being backed over the years by actions. And I trust that's the reason why we are saying the ones he has said now, trust he's going to do it, because the ones he has said before, he has done them. Please let's put our hands together for a visionary leader. All right, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, coming after the governor for a presentation, we are going to be very careful not to exceed 3 minutes. We are going to be very careful not to exceed 3 minutes. Please, all the speakers, keep this at the back of your heart. All right, distinguished guests, the first speaker coming up is the Commissioner of Agriculture and Food Security, in the person of Professor Oliver Namesa. Please, a round of applause for him. Over here, sir.
My name is Professor Nicholas Oliver Namesa, Commissioner of Agri, Taraba State, and I'm here to share with you the status of agriculture in Taraba State before, now, and some future projections. It is important we do that so as to carry the our stakeholders along as we journey through agriculture. Agriculture in Taraba State is blessed with some agro-climatic conditions favorable for the cultivation of several crops. Abundant water resources is what we inherit and what we have in Taraba State, and across the length and breadth of Taraba, we have about 5 million hectares arable land, and that quantity, only 40% is placed under cultivation. These are the challenges that bedevil Taraba agriculture, and we are making these frantic strategic innovations or initiatives to combat them. We are at the moment looking at the dry season farming, and we have stockpile of 4,500 metric tons of fertilizer, enough to service us in this dry season, and then next year farming season operations, and some seeds. These are the deliveries we have done to support our livestock farmers. The hemorrhagic septicemia disease and anthrax disease that came up, were able to subdue them. This is the mechanized mechanization initiative is Excellency, which has about 850 tractors. Of this quantity, we are in receipt of 475 of them, and we have commenced distribution of these tractors. But it is left open. Once you approach our office, you will get it. This is the record of all those that have been able to apply and they have it. Now we have challenges in the former position of status of our abattoir, but when His Excellency came on board, he saw it and decided to change it to this level. Some construction going on in Taraba. We have a rice mill that will be coming up on board and will carry, and that rice mill is sponsored, or sorry, is financed by the Czech Export Bank. The same arrangement that brought the tractor, the same arrangement is going to give us the rice mill there. But it is important to note that it decided to carry not because of anything, but because of the power station that is in Bukari, and no political reasons for that. The greenhouse, as it was devastated by windstorm and abandoned, it is now beautifully put to shape. Kudos for excellence. We have not left we have not left World Bank agencies or projects in the states, without help. Counterpart funds are readily made available, and they have also channeled their activities to ensure that our rural communities that are vulnerable are well attended to. These are some of the things we've been able to do. We have an announcement here. His Excellency, one day we were looking for how to get an approval from the National Office of Livestock Service and Resilience Center. It was approved by the World Bank. And now we have a brand new livestock service center in Sunkani, the former Sunkani Grazing Reserve, just been approved not more than 2 weeks ago. Some food security measures. His Excellency was able to resuscitate TAPMA, which is Taraba Agricultural Produce Marketing Agency. The office has been, under renovation as we speak, and funds have been released as we speak right now. Our agents are already in the market, and already grain aggregation is going on in Jalingo, Motumbiu, Garbajede, Bali, and several other places where we have our stores. The SAPC is a major investment program that Taraba State is working towards, but it's going to be in collaboration with the African Development Bank. These are the benefits. Key among the benefits is job creation for all actors along the value chain line. The African Development Bank was able to set up a milestone for us to achieve as a state. We have achieved number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. We are not ready for commencement of this project in 2025. Some of the future projections we would like to share with our stakeholders is that we will continue to support our farmers. Interestingly, we have come up with a plan that in April 2025, we are going to be distributing 336 mini global tractors across the 168 wards. These are some of the spots we'll be working. We are also working towards getting Taraba Agricultural Credit Corporation that will provide financial assistance to our farmers from time to time into a recycled form. Taraba Agriculture is a project that has different phases of growth and advancement. Therefore, we invite all Taraba stakeholders to be patient and to channel their energies to support the ongoing development in the sector. There is a promising future ahead, and Taraba economy shall be great. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Please let's put our hands together once again and celebrate this man. He's actually doing well in the state, and of course, he has just been elevated with another post. Thank you so much, sir. Next, coming to take his own presentation is the DG, Taraba Geographic Information System. That is, please let's put our hands together for Someo Marco.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency, my Governor of Taraba State. Permit me to stand on the clearly established protocol to talk about the mother of all, land administration. Everything we do is based on land. Even the space we occupy now is on land. You can see how valuable it is. I start this presentation to showcase what I call geospatial analysis of arable land in Taraba State, to showcase what we have, waiting for investors as far as land is concerned in the state. Being classified into 4, you are seeing highly arable, moderately and marginally, all in Taraba State. That's only 7% of Taraba State land mass that is non-arable. Past administration, as far as land is concerned in the state, is highly rooted on traditional land tenure system, which has significant impact on town planning. This is the record we have. in the past. You can see what is displayed there shows the record that if you think you have a land in Taraba State, is the only thing you can lay your hands on. But the story has changed. With that record, you discover that you have duplicate record, missing record, you have delay in generating CO4, tedious retrieval. That is the experience you have there. But presently, land administration in Taraba State is being pioneered by Taraba Geography Information Service, which was established by our Mayor Governor, Dr. Bukefas. Now, this is the contents of what you will see in touches as far as land record is concerned. You see, at a click of a button, you see a image that shows New Taraba. This one is a property record that His Excellency have approved that we have all the urban centers in Taraba State now in our database. With a click of a button of any number there will give you a details of a property owner. Now, we are transiting to full digital processing as far as land administration is concerned. As we're going to massive data capturing, cadastral mapping, automatic generations of land numbers, data security is guaranteed. Now, what are the benefits of digital land processing, digital land administration? It fast-tracks issuance of grants, CO in the state. As we are here now, if you successfully choose to sign your CO, it must not be in Taraba or in Nigeria, any part of the country, you can sign your CO. Property delineation is ongoing. Thank you. In land administration, what I have here is a plan subjective decision statements are all irrelevant if they are not sustainable source of income. Because of that, there is a direct link between land administration and town planning in Nigeria in Taraba State. I tend to give you a projection of what we tend to achieve as far as land administration is concerned, because we are going into recertification of those CO in Taraba State. And the archive shows that we have over 39,000 files that you can see listed at the registry I showed earlier. And we tend to go into full digitization that will capture the data. In terms of revenue generation, we are projecting over 2 billion naira in 2025. You can ask me how? Just a little arithmetic by computing the 39,000 naira as low as the certification of only 30,000 naira. You arrive at that figure. Projection of 2031, you can see we are going into over 10 billion naira from that. We have not even talked about other revenues that can come from that, provided we embrace the digital aspect of land administration. Implementing, we are calling on that there has to be implementing a comprehensive land tenure system in Taraba State and enhance collaboration with stakeholders for effective implementation, strengthening industrial capacity and focus on improving. Now, in conclusion, stakeholders must collaborate to address the challenges faced in the past, embrace technology advancements, and work towards a sustainable future for our dear Taraba State. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Sobe Maku. And the next person, we have the Commissioner of Education, Honorable Dr. Augustina Godwin. Please, let's put our hands together for her.
Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on the already established protocol. I'm here to make a brief presentation on the education sector of Taraba State and the impact of the free education policy and 50% slash of school fees and accommodation fees for tertiary education students in Taraba State. The status of the education sector at the onset of the Dr. Bukefas administration was in a deplorable state with many out-of-school children, and that led His Excellency to declare a state of emergency on the basic sector in the education sector, and subsequently he declared free primary and secondary education in Taraba State. With that declaration, the Ministry of Education had the mandate of ensuring equitable access to quality education for all Taraba State children through technology integration, through quality teaching and learning, and also through community engagement with parents and promotion of girl child education, skills development, and vocational education. The implementation of the free education policy began with advocacy and sensitization, visiting communities and stakeholders engagement, And the Taraba State Free and Compulsory Education Policy aligns with the Universal Basic Education Act, and it is implemented through our early care and childhood education development. And also we have 104 centers in Taraba State of ECCDE centers, and it is implemented through primary and secondary schools and also through the non-formal sector. What have been our achievements? One, increase in enrollment. If you look at that table, the margin shows that in the primary school before free education and now, there is a difference of 288,403 children have come into school because of the free education policy. And at the secondary sector, also you can see a margin of 85,285 children have come into secondary school because of the free education policy. And some of our achievements also include enhanced quality teaching and learning through staff development workshops, national conferences, and seminars conducted by state government, UNESCO, UNICEF, Federal Ministry of Education, and the Universal Basic Education Commission. We also have improved teachers' welfare. Since Dr. Abuke first came on board, teacher salary has been regular. They were also included in the minimum wage. And he has had 2 meetings with all head teachers and principals in the state since he came on board. And we have this part payment of backlog of salary that was inherited by this present administration. The state government released 1 billion to pay as part payment of TSU staff salary backlog. We also have primary school teachers, their salaries that were being owed by the state government for 4 months. Dr. Abukefas has said he's going to pay, and the process is already on. Then we have improved school infrastructure. You can see from here, the remodeled Yamusala Secondary School. There has been renovation of students' hostel in the university. There was also the renovation of the government comprehensive and temporary sites for the student to stay. One of our achievements is that presently, the state government pays over 80 million every month as running costs for head teachers and principals in Taraba State. And also, one of our achievements is the purchase of 48 hydroform brick making machines and the training of 145 young men from the 16 local government areas. The state government has paid 5 billion for this project. 2.9 billion worth of variation is yet to be paid. Then also part of our achievement is the slashing of tuition fee by 50%, and that has enabled more young people to afford university education in the state. And also, under this regime, the 3 tertiary institutions under the Ministry of Education have undergone accreditation successfully. That is College of Education in Taraba State University, Polytechnic. The state government paid over 800 million for the accreditation. And then we have the school exchange program where we have students from the 19 northern states. The Taraba State government freely feeds them and transports them to their various destinations. And also we have the free funding of internal and external examinations. Next slide, please. This is the table showing the free WAEC, MOOC, NECO, NAPTEP, and BASIC. The state government spent 1.6 billion for these internal and external examinations. Other achievements include procurement of school materials. We have exercise books, drawing books, tablets, uniforms. These are yet to be distributed, but we have over 100,000 of each present in the state already. And then we have distribution of school materials. And since the free education came on board, many communities have handed over their school back to the state government for effective running. We have 85 of such schools, 43 from northern zone, 18 from central zone, and 24 from the southern zone. And of course, because of the free education policy, the state government has given special package for youth compulsory serving in our schools. This is what the state government has achieved through SUBES. The state government has constructed 39 new schools in Taraba State. 27 schools have been fenced under SUBES. 16 early care education centers have been established with boreholes, motorized boreholes, and also 80 non-formal centers, tents, and toilets have been constructed. Thank you, Ms. Faulkner. These are also schools, 7 schools that were fenced by CSDP in the state. Then, our challenges mainly include training, teacher training in 21st century skills. We have insufficient supervision due to lack of adequate resources, dilapidated school infrastructure despite all that has been done by the present government, and then we have insufficient school materials despite the ones that the state government has provided. Our way forward is to ensure composition of building committees in all local government areas and supervision of the rebuilding of schools flagged up by His Excellency. One of our way forward also is to ensure that all educational activities in the state are giving enough publicity outside the state as a way of creating network and partnership, and also to do a documentary on early child education under the free education policy, to distribute the school materials procured by the state government that is on ground, to foster technology integration by using the tablets that have been procured by the state government, and to do a survey on technical education in the state as to enhance skill development and vocational education, and lastly to establish more ECCDE centers, and also to continue active engagement with communities and parents through visitation to rural and urban centers. In conclusion, the free education policy of His Excellency Dr. Argukefas is impacting greatly on the masses of Taraba State, and we are highly committed to promoting it. We hope that the committee that is working to attract investors to the state will enable us to connect and network with funding agencies for the continuous implementation and sustainability of the free education policy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. If you're watching very attentively, you will see the number of children that has gone back to school just by one man's vision. Is that not commendable? She mentioned number of children that have gone back to school. That's why I said earlier that the governor is talking less than he is doing. Please, let's put our hands together for such leadership. Your Excellency, the governor of Taraba State, you know, your connection cuts across. For this program, I knew you invited the president of China. The Chinese president could not come, Your Excellency. He sent the ambassador to represent him. The ambassador missed his flight. So they said I should read the Chinese president message, his own presentation. They sent it to my email, Your Excellency, and it's very important. Here we go, the Chinese president presentation. I read from my email. He says, "Singapore." Say, "Taishin Gola." I want you to say, "Wow." Dr. Kefas, Tojo. One Kaula, Kau Shin, Kau, Kaula, Kau, Shin, Kaula, Kau. Please a round of applause for the governor. The governor is connected. But do you agree with the Chinese president? You agree with him? I agree with him 100%. For those of you that don't understand, the third edition, they are going to send the interpretation. Thank you very much. That was just on a lighter note. Your Excellency, the Governor of Taraba State, distinguished guests, I want to seize this opportunity to bring the next presentation. It's coming from Pronel Taraba State Master Plan. And then the presenter is a person of Engineer Alex Onyego. Please, a round of applause for him.
I think the person that presented before me, I think she ate into my time. I don't know whether I should be presenting in Chinese because it will be faster. It's my pleasure to give an insight on the Taraba Master Plan 2050. We have done a lot of master plans, including that of Abuja, and we leveraged on our experience from the various master plans, even the one in FCT, especially because there was a deviation in the implementation of the master plan here. So while doing that of Taraba, we took cognizance of all the lapses, both in the planning and in the implementation, to produce a plan that that takes cognizance of sorry. So we have in this planning, Jalingo town will be the only town in Nigeria that has a ring road encircling it. Even the FCT that has ring road only has a ring road that moves from Outer Southern Express to Outer Northern Express. Jalingo will be the only town in Nigeria that has a ring road that goes round it. And not only one ring road, you have ring road 1 and 2. This enables us to not have to deal with the cost of having to restructure an existing town that we have a lot of demolitions and compensations. So we have a situation where we have created Ring Road 1 and 2 to have the greater Jalingo area, which is like 10 times the whole of Abuja phase 1, 2, 3. So you can imagine. Now, in that greater Jalingo district, where we have about 12 partitions, each of those districts are larger in landmass than the whole of Abuja phase 1. Abuja phase 1 is Meitama, Asokoro, Wuse, Gariki, and CBD. So that gives you an idea of what the greater Jalingo town is going to look like. So if you have a district in this greater Jalingo that each of them is larger than Abuja phase 1, that gives you an idea. And this is the only master plan that covers the whole senatorial districts and local governments. No such master plan has been done in Nigeria. Normally the focus is in the state capitals. But this one, we are covering the local governments, even did household surveys up to the villages, so that we have an input from the indigenes and the residents in the state. So it's not just an academic exercise, because most of these plans, they do them and then they submit them and nothing is done about it. But in this particular case, the whole process, we even integrated intending investors, financial institutions that are ready to give grants. So we won't just finish and dump it somewhere and it becomes something in the shelf of an office. But from next year, the intention is that this master plan will begin to be implemented. And Brunel is going all the way with the state to ensure its implementation, because our own partners are ready to begin to do the Ring Road 1 and 2. And I'm here to confirm that. Not only, I don't know if I've exceeded my time, but we took cognizance of all the strengths of this state. Agriculture, minerals. In the last page here, you can see that we did an airborne survey of the mineral deposits in Taraba. And you can see that there is coordinates of where these minerals are in commercial quantity. So any investor, we've removed 50% of the headache of trying to determine where these minerals are. So, but in doing this report and submitting to the state, the tendency to have your minerals and resources exploited and taken somewhere else for processing, we are against that. Any investor that is coming to exploit the minerals, we have to process them to the finished product so that the state can benefit from the whole value chain, and the indigenes of the state can be part of the benefits of processing those things. So just coming to tap minerals and take it to another destination to go and process will not happen. So this is why this is a completely different distance. So in Taraba, you have the highest location in Nigeria, and that location, Mambila Plateau, is one of the richest locations to situate yourself. I want to say that if I had my way, I would have applied to be an indigene of this state, because from the studies, I can see that 10% of the resources of this state has not been tapped. So maybe as time goes on, don't be surprised if I begin to carry the passport of this state. So I have enumerated the mineral resources and the road infrastructure and the intending districts that we have in the state. This is not the slide. So if these things are implemented, I bet you that this state will be one of the richest states in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, we are taking the next presentation immediately, and it's going to be coming from the Permanent Secretary, Bureau for Solid Mineral, Matsai. Thank you. Please, a round of applause for him.
My name is Matsai David Tanyi. I'm here to present presentation on solid minerals before, now, and in the future. Taraba State is located in the northeastern part of the country, and is the only state in the federation that has been traversed by the Benue Trough. For those of you that do a little of geography or geology, you know the Benue Trough is an opening. It's an opening within the earth crust that creates some tectonic activities, and this has in place a lot of minerals deposits within the Taraba State landmass. Over 56 different types of minerals have been found or discovered in Taraba State. Have been discovered in Taraba State, and these minerals have been represented by a group of non-metallic, metallic, precious metals, precious stones, and radioactive minerals. The metallic minerals are being represented by a group. There are a lot of these under these groups, but I'm only going to name two. Each local government in the state have some deposit of minerals. We have the metallic ore, we have the cassiterite and the galena. The non-metallic minerals, we have the barite and graphite. The precious metal, we have the gold and silver. The precious stones, we have sapphire and tourmaline. Then the radioactive minerals, we have uranium and monazite. On all these minerals, they occur within the Taraba State. In fact, there are over 56 types of them. And presently, the work we have done in the Bureau for Solid Mineral, we have done the qualitative analysis. When I talk about the qualitative analysis, the grades, the types, and the minerals associated with these minerals have been determined within the country in the labs in the country. Presently, Taraba State has incorporated an SPV, which is a special purpose vehicle, which is mandatory for each state that wanted to go directly into mining. Then they have to create that SPV. The SPV formerly was known as Taraba Solid Mineral Development Company, but now we have changed the name to Taraba Solid Mineral Resource Company. Under this SPV, we expect any investors that come will interface with the state through this SPV. Presently, as I'm talking this year, the governor make it possible for the Bureau for Solid Mineral to go to Ghana to go and see how mining has been done in a modern manner. And we have seen that we have a long way to go in Taraba State. Presently, the state governor also make it possible for us to go to South Africa, the mining in Daba, which is one of the greatest gathering of investors and miners in the whole of Africa. We have been there, we presented what we have in Taraba State. When they saw what we have, they were amazed. As I'm talking now, Taraba State is a member of Finland Mining Finland. This is an organization in Europe that incorporates a lot of companies within the Europe subgroup. The Taraba State is a member now. In fact, they just invited us for a conference and exhibition where Taraba State showcase what they have. They were surprised. A lot of the companies are ready now to come. This is about the qualitative analysis. The next stage we wanted to go into is the aspect of the quantitative analysis of the individual deposit. What we have been done in Taraba State is just scratching the surfaces. We have not gone in depth to see the quantum of the material we have on the ground. But the state has taken it upon her now to do it. We expect every company that will come to interface or mine in Taraba State to give value change to our product, in which His Excellency have agreed that at least they must establish a factory that will refine our mineral to a certain extent. This is where we wanted to go, and a lot of investors have been coming. We are waiting for His Excellency to now lead the ban on the mining, which we will take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellencies, our distinguished guests. All these progressive developmental strides we are hearing, of course, they are visible and not audio like some of the enemies of the state are claiming. They are all visible. By the grace of God, we'll see them. Bringing up right now is the Executive Chairman, Taraba State Internal Revenue Services Chairman, and the Special Task Force Chairman. Let's put our hands together for Brigadier General Jeremiah Faransa, retired Baban Chako.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Taraba State, esteemed guests, I don't have time, but you're all highly welcome. I have two presentations to make. One on task force, the other one is on internal generated revenue of Taraba State. So I'm going to do this. There is what you call delegation of responsibility, and one of my board members will take the aspect of IGR. I'm here to present the activities of mining and deforestation in Taraba State before, now, economic benefit challenges, future projections, and successes of the operations of the Special Task Force. Next. These are the outline. These are, as way of introduction, Taraba has everything. My aim is just to acquaint you with our operations in Taraba State. Mining before was just on rampage. Everybody will enter the bush and do whatever he wants to do unchallenged. But we come in His Excellency, I think he issued Executive Order number 5, and that brought about our setting up the Special Task Force. Economic benefits of mining, as we know, it can create opportunities for growth and development through enhanced revenue drive from export and taxes and royalties. Next, challenges. These are the situation, devastating situation we have found ourselves in Taraba State. If not because of His Excellency, you'll be sitting down in Taraba and you'll be hearing volcanic eruptions taking place all over the 16 local government areas of Taraba State. Security challenges. This is one of the mining sites in Dogoya, so it has over 3,000 to 5,000 youths. These children are supposed to be in school, but unfortunately along the line, they are all being labored by illegal miners and companies. Bad and difficult terrains. This is order of the day in Taraba State. In fact, it's our rigging too, because there is no road, no anything leading to anywhere. This is Tungang Bongo. It's a boundary between us and Cameroon. There is the blue sapphire discovered in this place. And because of that, the Fulani men, after excavations, most of their cows normally fell into the pit. So that brought a lot of crisis, but we were able to be there. Lack of access to modern technology and tools. We are using manual, and that's why these children are into drugs. When you see a place excavated by one boy, you tend to wipe the water. They brought about 13 excavators to excavate that pit. Prospect, yes, the state is endowed with rich solid mineral resources, no doubt about that. Blue sapphire, sapphire, fluorite, lithium, monazite. In fact, everything in Taraba is money. Even the sand, monazite, is all over everywhere. But then it's not well announced. Prospect and opportunities for growth. Yes, we can use it as source of revenue generation. The Federal Ministry of Solid Mineral Development has reviewed the rate of taxes upward up to 100%. So with a collective responsibility, if we are able to enhance this, we can key into the 13% derivatives owned by other oil producing states and whatever. prospect and opportunities, investment opportunities, job and wealth creation gone, deforestation, this is worst. In the next 5-10 years in Taraba State, you will be worse than Maiduguri. Merchants, everything, our forests, all devastated, destroyed. Indiscriminate falling of trees. The new in town is the charcoal. And they nickname me Baba Charcoal or whatever they call it. If it's consumed only in Taraba State, I don't have any problem. But trailers of charcoal are being shipped out from Taraba State daily to Abuja. So we have to stop it. Successes and achievement, we have made so many arrests, and all this were handed over to the mobile court. Go on. These are some of the arrests who were made. This is a company in Taraba, Chinese companies dealing in wood and exporting them. Interception of trucks in Takum area. This one is Dogoyasu. And we have a lot of recommendations. The state government should expect action on development and lease of blueprint to enable legitimate miners and investors resume work. Next. The state government should liaise with Mining Corporation, Federal Zone Office, Federal Ministry of Solid Minerals, and the National Bureau of Commission for intervention and interpretation on boundaries. Another problem we have in Taraba State is the boundary issue. And I've pleaded so many times, and I'm calling all of us here. It's a collective responsibility. It's an endemic problem if we don't solve that problem. Benue, Taraba, Dogoyasu, Adama, Bachama, Gombe, Machidin, Kiria, Plateau, and so many other things. So please, let's know where we are, because it's brewing a lot of problems. Go on. So in conclusion, with the rich mineral resources the state is endowed with, mining has the immense potential of contributing to economic growth of the state and creating job opportunities for its citizens. The industry has faced some challenges which are largely man-made that require concerted effort from the government and the industry stakeholders. With the right policies, investment, and right practices, the state can enhance mineral wealth for sustainable development and prosperity. Therefore, we employ on the Committee on Investment to connect and partner with willing investors for mutual benefits, progress, and development of industry in Taraba State. Thank you. Next is on IGR.
Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. For want of time, I will stick on the existing protocol and run quickly. We're going to talk about the internal generated revenue, past, present, and the future, the strategic approaches and sustainable development. The introduction here was as a result of abysmal performance over time, and so many factors led to that. Because there was gross incompetence and lack of understanding of what is expected to do as a state. There are so many things, so many leakages, and so many inconsistencies in reporting, non-expansion of the narrow tax base, because we were over-relying on the federal allocations for the state. So there was no taxpayer awareness and informal economic practices all over the place. Let's run fast, please. So the IGR position in the last 5 years is this, and the 2024 figure, which is this as of October. Let's go. So this is the position where we stand as at 2023, 31st December last year. Taraba came last on the table. Please go back to the slide. Taraba was last, and on the dependence on fact, we were third on the table, which is quite unfortunate. 91% is our dependence on the federal allocation. What it means is that internally we're doing less than 10%, and that is the narrative that we are changing. So this is the situation of the IGR Gombe as at May 2024. 8.9 billion. And in June, when we resumed, when His Excellency, in his wisdom, constituted this team, the projection started increasing. We did 1.1 in June, 1.4 in July, 1.485 in August. As at October closing, we were on 1.6 billion. When we came into the place, there was no water. Staff had to go outside to even get water in bucket to come flush toilets. And the wisdom we had was the chairman had to drill boreholes, beautify the environment so that taxpayers coming in can have a conducive environment where they can do business with the state. So this is the environment. We were able to refurbish a lot of grounded vehicles that were on ground, and new motorcycles were purchased with the little cost of collection we were running. And this was when I was we're allocating one of the vehicles to Jalingo office under the supervision of the chairman. We bought laptops too, and this is the one we are allocating to Mukari and the enforcement. You remember those in Jalingo? You remember the enforcement we carried out in September? This is one of them. And this is the new brand office that we're operating now. This is the executive chairman with other board members. And the capacity building we had, the next slide please, the capacity building in-house, because we realized that we had limited funds and we don't know how we can be able to grow capacity because it is expensive to begin to bring consultants to come do that. And as we are, the taxmen as we are, we volunteered to be the in-house consultants and trainees, and we had to transfer the knowledge we came with, and to a large extent, they are well equipped and they are running with it, and the figures are changing. We've not started yet, but for 2025, we know that we're going to do better and take it. And this was the game changer that changed the whole narrative, and we're improving on that. There was value reorientation. We had to sit them down and tell them, first of all, who they are as tax experts. And we reorientated their value. There was this strategic internal positioning where we have to decentralize collections to each and every local government within the state. Then collaborations with ministries and MGAs. There were stakeholder engagement. We did a lot of things because there was a pronouncement of the Treasury single account where we expect all revenues for government to come into a single coffer so that we can be able to, at a glance, know what we're doing. Not every revenue generating agency begin to have collections in various accounts. And this is what we have done. And we have engaged in peer review and reconciliations with the JTB because there were lots and lots of our revenues with the IPPIS, JTB, and other federal ministries within the state, but they were not being remitted. We were able to embark on that reconciliation, and we were able to glean a lot from that. And we are still going on in that. This is the whole idea of revenue is to achieve what His Excellency has earmarked, which is the 5-finger mantra. And this is what we are doing. Next slide, please, first. So these are the thematic areas we're looking at. We want to ensure a sound fiscal policy trust for the government. Reforming government institutions is one of the key, so as to have a basis where there will be a lot of revenue flowing in. We are leveraging on political support and engagement, a well-coordinated capacity development for the service. That's what we're doing. And this is what we intend to do from 2025 to 2029, 5 years projection. We want to automate all tax revenue processes, central billing system. We're incorporating of revenue streams for high net worth individuals. It's an area where we're interested, and seated in this hall today are high net worth individuals who are indigenous of our state. So we're going to take that conversation to that level. Then exploring on the initiatives from Taraba geographical system, because we have a lot coming from the initiative they're bringing up. Then implementing emerging taxes, consumption, and infrastructure. So this is our projection for 65 billion for next year. This is far above what has been earmarked as our target for next year. But because we want to drive ourselves, we have to set an ambitious target for ourselves to exceed what they're talking about. So that when we exceed government targets, of course, we know that we are not resting on our hours because we continue driving. Then we're talking about 2026 now. We're projecting it. 72 billion is what we have. What we're going to intend to do to achieve that is that we're going to grow what we have done in 2025. Then 2027, we're going to expand on the revenue streams already established while exploring new ones. Then 2028, we're going to consolidate on the already expanded revenue streams while implementing and exploring additional streams. For 2029, because you see recently there's a huge conversation around the tax reform and so many bills going on in the National Assembly. So what we're going to do is that by the time everything is settled and done, by 2029 we'll begin to domesticate what is being pronounced at the federal level, then begin to expand it and see how we can be able to open up our opportunities and unlock them for the betterment of our state. Let's go with this. So the challenges we're having at this level, if they can just allow me time so that we can roll the 3 next slides. There's inadequate legal framework to drive and guide revenue. It's one of our challenges. Then we have resistance from revenue from MDAs for collaboration and streamlining the process. A lot of MDAs begin to think that their collection is for them, but we always tell them the collection is for the treasury. So whatever you do, even if you are asked to collect and revolve, like the federal institutions, state institutions and the specialist hospital, we told them, for reporting sake, let us have the figures so that it can count for us for negotiation. Because when we get these figures, even our fund allocation will increase. So these are some of the conversation we're talking about. Then leakages, there are lots of leakages because there's administrative underreporting of IGR. Then unauthorized collection agents. Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, everybody in the state has turned himself into a revenue collecting person. Receipts everywhere, unions and this, but we have engaged into rigorous conversations and we're beginning to stem that in the board. Then inadequate operational vehicles and manual operation of the tax revenue system. This is what we met, but the game is changing, and by the grace of God, 2025 is going to be a buffer for us because we are moving on. Then automated tax revenue process and central billing system for all MDAs. This is what we are going to do for next year, and we are calling on His Excellency and all that we hear that we're advocating for a grant, for a takeoff, where we can be able to automate some of these things so that we cut off manual processes and human interference. At that level, we can be able to have much coming into the government coffers. Harmonizing revenue laws. We have drafted the law, we have compiled, we have done so much about it. As we speak, it is with the Director of Legal Drafting in the Ministry of Justice. Very soon, the executive will have it at hand to present to the State House. Then we are also advocating for an executive pronouncement to drive compliance for IGR in the state, because they see this issue as our game, but we're trying to let them know it's a state thing. So we are advocating that there should be an executive pronouncement where they should be able to see reasons why this thing is all about all of us and not we that came to do the job. Then we're going to promote continuous public awareness and aggressive enlightenment. Let's go. I said all this in order to say this, ladies and gentlemen. What we're doing here is that optimal IGR is critical to Taraba economic transformation. And what that means is that we're going to see that the fiscal policy trust of the state is well on top gear, because we're going to have a lot of surpluses. And what that means is that we're going to have the revenue, the expenditure and debt management. We need to open up the state. We need to reschedule so that we can be able to make available cash flow and liquidity position for the state so that they can function. And we hope that the dignitaries seated here can be able to connect with us and ensure that they give us all we need to get an optimal revenue generation for the state, and the intending five-finger mantra of His Excellency can be achieved well moving forward. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Let's put our hands together once again. I will also always want to be a Taraba. Thank you for this. Coming up next is the Commissioner of Environment and Climate Change. Let's put our hands together for Honorable Aisha Bande. Put your hands together for this beautiful woman. Thank you so much.
Your Excellency, permit me to start on the already established protocol. Good evening, everyone. I'm here to make a presentation on the status of environment and climate change in Taraba State. Next. It's just introduction about Taraba State, map of Taraba State. Next, environmental devastation in Taraba State. Escalating environmental devastation has impacted the lives and livelihoods of Taraba State's indigenes. This includes deforestation, soil erosion, desertification, water pollution, climate change effect, wildlife depletion, poor waste management, political will and commitment. This administration, under the leadership of Dr. Abu Kefas, the governor of Taraba State, understands that climate change is a threat to economic development, and as such restructured the former Ministry of Environment to Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. The state commitment is evident in the allocation of the 5% of the state's total budget, the 2024 total budget, to the tune of 15,766,325,366 naira 80 kobo to the Greening Taraba initiative. Participation at the United Nations Climate Change conferences, such as the Conference of the Party, aka the COP, clear demonstration of commitment via continuous awareness and sensitization campaign on climate change and climate action in Taraba State. The local journey to achieving net zero emission through localizing nationally determined contribution. At Taraba State, we are not waiting for change, we are rather driving the change. Ongoing initiatives in the state: the ban on illegal mining and tree felling to conserve natural heritage, reduce carbon emission, preserve air quality for present and future generation. Mobilizing women for clean cooking solutions, promoting clean cooking stoves to replace the traditional cooking method, to reduce deforestation and harmful emission, improves women's health and time, creates economic opportunities through clean technology distribution. The launch of 2 million tree planting campaign across 9 local government areas of the state. We've planted over 1 million economic and aesthetic trees, distributed 550,000 seedlings so far to combat deforestation, sequester carbon, protect biodiversity, prevent soil erosion, improve water retention, prevent flooding, windstorm, heat waves, foster community engagement, economic empowerment, and collective action. Development of climate change policy and action plans. We're currently developing our climate change and action plans in collaboration with the European Climate Foundation through the African Climate Foundation. Next. More climate-related projects in the state are adoption of renewable energy projects, adoption of sustainable agricultural programs, promotion of energy-efficient initiatives, encouraging and promoting circular economy with the goal of integrating sustainability into governance. Alignment with national goals. Taraba State Initiative perfectly aligns with the Nigerians' nationally determined contribution under the Paris Agreement. That is to reduce 20% of Nigerians' greenhouse gas emission unconditionally and 47% conditionally. The condition is with international support. We're also contributing to the national climate change target and a low carbon future. That is the commitment of net zero emission by 2060 through the Nigerian Energy Transition Plan, which focuses on decarbonizing 5 key sectors of the energy transition plan. The sectors are transport, energy, cooking, industry, and oil and gas. Challenges: financial and technical constraints, illegal mining, and unsustainable logging, low awareness and educational level, social-economic challenges like poverty, limited livelihood options, population growth, cultural and social factors, denial about climate change, resistance to change, conflict between farmers and herders, low staff strength, inadequate policy framework. Our requests and prayers: financial support for ecological conservation, protection of natural resources, climate mitigation, resilience, and adaptation projects like afforestation, reforestation, disaster risk reduction, climate-smart agriculture, renewable energy, waste management, and pollution control, technical assistance, capacity building, knowledge exchange in ecosystem restoration, water conservation, waste management, support to promote climate awareness, climate education, and community engagement, support for investment in climate weather monitoring station, research, innovation, and instruction for climate resilience. Conclusion: Taraba State stands at the crossroads of opportunity and transformation. By harnessing its natural resources and embracing sustainable practices, we can lead the way in climate resilience, green growth, and a sustainable future for all. We acknowledge that failing to integrate climate action into state development plans poses a grave risk to long-term sustainability, economic stability, and the well-being of communities. Together, we can promote bold, ambitious action to combat climate change and environmental devastation. These are just tree planting, the climate change awareness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Your Excellency, it's like this microphone is a man. Look at the way it favored her. She spoke no break. What a microphone. Your Excellency, sir, when I went down, something happened. I didn't know we are live. I didn't know. So when we did that 1 million naira thing, I just went to check my WhatsApp. My landlord is sending me happy new month on the 8th. I'm just laughing. Now I read the message, I didn't reply. Few minutes later, he now sent me a picture that he snapped on his television watching me on Arise. He has sent it. I opened it. I will not reply. Sir, if that man get me angry, I will do him what I did to my former landlord. That's why my former landlord disturbed me, Your Excellency. I got angry, introduced him to Bed Niger. 2 days later, my landlord came to me that he's looking for a house to rent. I said, what happened? We are living in your house now. He said, are you man look for a house? I don't know, say the man carried the whole building, go play Arsenal 72 what? Ticket cut. That's how me and you became homeless. With this new one, if you try me, I know what I will do. Just on a lighter note, Your Excellency, we are bringing up the next presentation, and it is coming from another woman, just like they said earlier, the governor said, my government have this slot for women, and he kept to it even before he said it. So we are bringing up another presentation from the commissioner, from the commissioner of environment. No, what am I doing? This landlord man, this man has confused me. From the commissioner of energy and economic development, engineer Naomi Ako. Please a round of applause for her. Engineer. Oh God.
Thank you very much, and good evening all. Good evening, Your Excellency. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol, and I will plead with the timekeepers. Please, I will be speaking on both energy and economic development. So I like that we're all sitting down here. Is it working? Next slide. I like that we're all sitting down here in the comfort of this hall. We have electricity, we have the AC, we have the comfort. But unfortunately, it's not the reality for a lot of people in Taraba State, especially since we have, out of 16 local governments, we have 5 local governments that are not connected to national grid. So that tells you the reality of what we have at home. Next. So when we came on board, the past of what we received, the past of what we received was, we met a devastated infrastructure. We met 5 local governments that are not connected to national grid. We had a lot of frequent outages. We also have inadequate electricity infrastructures, and we didn't have a lot of street lights, and a lot of vandalization on our electricity assets. So what have we achieved so far in terms of present? The government have invested in transformers for some dedicated government institutions and facilities, notably the specialist hospital, the greenhouse gas, the greenhouse institution that's the Ministry of Agriculture that is the custodian of. Next slide, please. We've also been able to restore the street lights in one of the major streets in Jalingo. We've also installed some solar street lights, and we'll continue doing that with funds available. So we've also collaborated with the Federal Ministry of Power to begin connecting one of the local governments that is not connected to the national grid, which is Bali local government, from Sunte to Megodi. And this project, as of today, is about 80% completed. We've also partnered with United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, to be able to access some of our sites for small hydropower plants. Next slide. And this is one of the sites, Maestelbe in Gashika local government. So what have we achieved so far? Following what the federal government did by assenting to the Electricity Act 2023, Taraba State have successfully passed their own state electricity law, known as the Taraba State Electricity Law 2024, and the governor assented to this on the 4th of October 2024, making Taraba State the first state in the Northeast to take this bold step in transitioning from the national electricity market to the state electricity market. So what will this law do? It gives us the power to be able to have our own regulatory commission, our own electricity regulatory commission, our state electricity generation company, our state electricity distribution company, rural electrification board, and also a very fundamental aspect because of the gap in our electricity infrastructure, our electricity infrastructure provision fund. And we also give rise to the state electricity transmission company. Next slide. So this law that we passed, it enables and gives us the power to be able to license the Kashimbala hydropower project, which was recently acquired by one of our beloved elder statesmen. Next slide. So, and also this law allows us to be able to license whoever in Nigeria, globally, that wants to come into the state, to be able to invest in our different hydro resources. These are some of the sites. It cuts across Gashaka, it cuts across Sadona, it cuts across Bali, it cuts across Donga local government. I say one thing, Taraba State, I've heard my previous colleagues say we're very rich, we're very, very rich, especially in hydro resources. Next slide. So our strategic areas of interest, and I'll tell you why we're focused on these strategic areas of interest. We're very much focused on it because we know where Nigeria is headed. We've seen, we've heard from our different colleagues, and if you take note of the data right now, 80% of power that is generated in Nigeria comes from the south, and only 20% from the north. And in the north, I can tell you, even when you look at the data and how much we get from the national grid, it's not commensurable for what we get in Taraba State. So we don't have a choice but to establish our electricity market. And once we have power, we know it will give rise to economic development. We will be able to power industries, and we will be able to create the right economy and environment for investments to thrive. Next slide, please. So on the economic development aspect, what have we done as a government? We've taken 3 sectors: agro projects, industrial park projects, and energy projects. And in terms of these projects, we've identified about some crops, and our target for these crops is mechanized farming with a minimum of 10,000 hectares per crop in the different locations that cuts across the entire Taraba State. And yes, it may confuse you to note and say, why are you doing agriculture? Agriculture is the economy of the state, and when we're talking about economic development, agriculture is a key sector to us. My brother, Commissioner of Agriculture, talks about agriculture in terms of food security, but we're talking about in terms of economic value from this product. I'll give you an example, like cassava. When we're growing cassava, 10,000 hectares, we're not growing cassava just for food security purposes. We're growing cassava for cassava starch, we're growing cassava for tapioca, which gives us economic value of the crops. For our energy projects, we're talking about establishing 10 megawatt solar power plant in Jaligo, another 35 megawatt hydropower plant project in Bibino Donga local government. For the industrial park projects, we're talking about cutting across different local governments from Bali, Takum, Donga, and Okari local governments, and all of this will be connected by road networks. And these local governments, you ask why? Because there are key indices whenever you're talking about industrial park. You need your power, you need logistics. We want to utilize the Kashimbila power plant to convert it into a cargo power plant. So once we have the economic value from the products that we grow, we should be able to have the cargo logistics route out of Taraba State. So now, all of this sounds very good and nice. So where do we get the money from? And the reason why it's important to know where you get the money from, because every 1 megawatt, if you're producing 1 megawatt, you're talking about not less than $1.5 million in the climates of Nigeria. If we put that into the state budget, and I listened keenly when the IGR was speaking, I was speaking on how much we depend on the federal, we will not be moving forward. And that is what the governor understands very clearly. So we've liaised with 3 development bank institutes: the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, the Afrexim Bank, and the African Development Bank. And across this, we've had milestones that have already been achieved. For the ECOWAS Bank, we've gone to advanced stage, and right now we're proceeding to board approval and presentation for our approval of some of the projects that have already been detailed. For Afrexim Bank, we've commenced document exchange with them. For African Development Bank, we're going to continue with the engagement, and as of tomorrow, we will be meeting with the country MD of African Development Bank to further the progress of Taraba State. Next slide, please. And across all these financial institutions, one will ask, what's the target? And I had to pause because when we begin to talk about numbers, I've told you about 10 megawatts, I've told you about 35 megawatts, and each one, I'm telling you, it will cost me $1.5 million to get one. So across those financial institutions, our target is to raise not less than $1.5 billion, which I think with my number serves me right, we're talking about over 2 trillion naira to inject into the economy of Taraba State. You might say the number is high, but if we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? I, as a youth, I stand before you, and a number of things breaks my heart. Coming to my own home state, where 5 local governments are not connected to the national grid. If we don't do it now, we won't be able to secure the future for our children. And I know that is what His Excellency Dr. Abu Kefas understands keenly. So these are some of the pictures from when the delegation from ECOWAS Bank visited Taraba State. They came purposefully to visit the site. This was His Excellency receiving them. They visited some of the project sites, and we've continued to liaise with them. And I can tell you, even when we put our request to them, it was the president of the bank that minuted directly to say, respond to them, because Taraba never comes on the table, but now they're on the table. So this is the ESI sample collection when the team went to some of the project sites. And this is the map of the industrial park that we're talking about, which will all be connected by road network, opening up the Taraba state. So these are some of the clusters. Please move fast. So we have the agro-processing clusters, the mineral beneficiation cluster for processing solid minerals, the residential clusters, the general industry clusters, and the agro-processing cluster as earlier highlighted. When my brother Solid Minerals spoke, you ask yourself, okay, now when we open up the sector of mining, it goes into the solid mineral beneficiation cluster to be processed so that we retain the value of these raw materials from our state. So in conclusion, the administration of His Excellency Dr. Abukefas is making great monumental strides to both the energy sector and the economic development sector of the state. These projects that we've identified will impact the state not only today, but for generations to come and generations unborn. So it is our hope that the committee constituted to attract investors into the state will take note of some of these investment opportunities that we've highlighted, to be able to showcase us to the rest of the world and to be able to bring investors that will invest dearly into our state. And also to all of you here seated, all you stakeholders, I also implore you, in your own way, even if it's the most slightest, littlest way, please assist in what way you can, so that we, as a collective, we'll be able to move Taraba State forward. Thank you very much.
Engineer. Okay, right now, we are going to be receiving a commissioner. He is the Commandant, Taraba State Marshal, CP Agiole Abe, retired. Please, a round of applause for him.
Thank you, Your Excellency, distinguished guests here present. I'm going to be taking a review on the security frameworks and dynamics of Taraba State. We're going to be focusing on the state of security before and now. And a brief history of Taraba State, we all know, is important because we want to see the landmass and the effect on security in the state. Before this graph is going to show you exactly what security is between 2016 and 2024. The graph represents a surge in crime between 2016 and 2022. And by the time His Excellency Dr. Abukefas came to power, we can see a drastic decline in crime as indicated in the yellow and blue lines, which are kidnapping, armed robbery, and other offenses. How did this thing become possible? Simple. The man came with a vision. The man came with knowledge and security. His background contributed a lot in gingering all the security agencies in the state to work together. And one of the things we saw that was responsible for this drastic decline is what they have already spoken about: free education. How did it impact on security? Take the children out of the street, take them back to the classroom, the street to be safe. Then we have motivation of security agencies. When we are saying security agencies here, none of the security agencies in Taraba State was left out. And if I keep talking about what we acquired between 2023 and now, I will stand here, keep talking till tomorrow. We have enough, and none of the security agencies in Taraba State have any reason to complain and have no reason not to perform. And also, sustained funding is very critical. And as soon as he came in, honestly, from day one, he constituted a committee called the Security Solution Committee, and all security agencies were members. And we start together and discuss on way forward. And at the end, we came up with a lot of resolutions which he had consistently maintained. Then we have procurement of high-tech security equipment, some which we will not mention here, but I can tell you that Taraba is well policed. Taraba has security agencies that are working together. And if you are in doubt of coming to invest in Taraba, you have no doubt. Come in and you will be secure. That's what we're doing in the state. Then what is our future projection for Taraba State? Simple. We want to see a near crime-free society, deliberate government policies to be able to sustain what we already have on ground. Next, please. Then we are also coming with this issue of an app that will enable citizens to report crime without even physically coming, so that it will not even put their life in jeopardy. Also, we have this issue, fusion centers that has been created by the state. In this fusion center, all security agencies are members, and we receive quick time information from scene of crimes and for immediate actions. And I can tell you that the fusion center is playing a vital role in crime prevention in Taraba State. As I speak with you, the state has drones that can monitor most of the areas in the state, and this has greatly assisted us in combating crime. And in essence, thank you so much, sir. In essence, we know that in the near future, Taraba State will be amongst one of the safest states in this country. Thank you all.
What a working state, what a working economy. It takes high level of innovation to stand and say you are raising 1 point something billion to inject into the economy. I think that's a state with a vision. I want to clap for the leadership of this state again. Very interesting. And you know, the most important thing about this whole thing the governor is doing is the fact that once those things are working, jobs opportunities are created automatically. If security is working, job opportunity has been created. Every other thing, you understand? Meaning there is job creation in Taraba State. In my own state, no job. In fact, in my state, APC women leader and a man. They laugh. Work no day. The one way see now we go do. Now women don't come to meeting anymore. They just dey gossip. All right, I want to seize this opportunity to bring up the next presentation. This one is coming from a foundation, Gashaka, African Nature Investors. Please, a round of applause for our own brother Nacha Chofwe.
Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Nacha Joffrey. I am the country manager for African Nature Investors Foundation, which is also called ANI. The name was strategically chosen because we feel putting your effort in nature, tourism, ecotourism, forest, is actually an investment. You may not reap money immediately, but it's an investment for the future of our offsprings, our state, and also the future leaders. And Taraba State is probably the most strategic for ecotourism in Nigeria if we make the right decision. And I think we are lucky to have the governor that understands what it means, that understands the strategic investments that is required. I will have a quick run of our foundation, who we are, what we do. We are a not-for-profit organization that believes in protecting strategic national assets. Our projects in Nigeria include the protection and management of Gashaka-Gumti National Park in collaboration with the Nigerian National Park Service. We signed a co-management agreement with the Nigerian National Park Service for 30 years to work closely with them to raise the resources and the expertise to help co-manage the park. And we are very proud of the results that we are getting in just very few years. It's very difficult, it's very tough, because our job moves across all strata. When I heard about mining, my heart was beating because it's one of the challenges we are facing. But then I heard another presentation that said we have to be sustainable and ensure that while trying to get resources from one department, we don't destroy the other resources that we are trying to get. I will quickly move to the others. One of our core tenets is we know that the government cannot raise all the funds that is required to do tourism and to do other things. So as private organizations and also as stakeholders, we feel there is a lot of role that we can play to support the government to ensure that the success that we are all working towards is achieved. This is a quick map of Gashaka Gumti National Park, but also Okomu National Park. After working for a couple of years in Gashaka Gumti National Park, the federal government approached us to work closely to also manage one of the parks. Reluctantly, we chose the smallest park at that time, which is Okomu National Park. It's small, but the challenges are mighty. Next slide, please. This is our team. We have a small team, but we are doing a lot of big things. Gashaka is quite strategic. It's probably more than twice the size of Lagos State. It cuts across Taraba and Adamawa states, but also shares boundary with Cameroon. So we work closely with the Taraba state government. We are getting a lot of support from the governor of Taraba state because he understands and appreciates the potential that the park brings, but only if we do the right thing. We are very proud to say that he is working closely with us and all stakeholders to achieve all of that. I decided to put a lot of animals that we have captured from the park. We did not steal these animals from the internet. We have put out camera traps to try to get some of the pictures that are there. Sadly to say, over the years, most of the big games in Gashaka have been wiped out because of poaching and maybe not sufficient resources to manage them. Elephants, lions, elands, giraffes are all gone. But it's not hopeless. We have them next across door in Cameroon. So if we make the right decisions now, in the next few years, we are going to have all these animals back in Gashaka. When we took over, the biggest challenge we had was a lot of poverty around the communities. So we invested heavily to do a socio-economic survey of the communities living in and around the park. Before you support the communities, you don't import ideas. You try to find out what are your needs, how can we work together with you. And we believe in helping them to catch fish or teaching them to catch fish, not to bring free stuff and give to them. We are currently being supported by money from philanthropy. We don't generate any money of our own, but we know that our donors are going to get tired in the next few years. So we are working very hard to ensure that we are able to generate, the system is able to generate enough revenue to run itself, which is why it's really nice to see what Taraba state government is doing, aligns closely with us. We have three approaches. Many of the donors who give you big money tell you, we need to see that you have a long-term investment, you have the buy-in of the government before we can be able to give you money. So luckily enough, working closely with the Nigerian National Park Service, who is a very good partner of ours, we have signed 30 years for Taraba. We are now working closely with them to secure the park, but also with the Taraba state government. The governor has been very supportive and has stood by us all the way. One of the big challenges I will tell you with what we are doing is, when we started dealing with mining, for example, the miners would go and write a petition and brand you to say you are a miner because they believe that the activities of managing the park is impeding on their illegal activities. But luckily, the intervention of the governor and all other stakeholders, we have been able to deal with that. I want to go very quickly. Next slide, please. We have invested greatly on infrastructure. We have bought a Robin 66 helicopter, which we use for surveillance, but also for deployments. The terrain of Gashaka, for those who know how the terrain is, you could walk for 3 weeks without reaching the end of the park. So if you depend on rangers to trek, to be able to do patrols, to be able to cover the terrain, it's nearly impossible. So to enable them to do that, with the support of the National Security Advisor, the police, and all relevant stakeholders, we have secured a helicopter that helps to make our work easier, working together with the National Park, but also the Taraba State Government. We have also secured about 15 land cruisers that is deployed all around the park, which is currently used for protection. But in 2025, we are very optimistic. We want to start the first ecotourism lodge in Taraba State, probably the best Nigeria would ever have. We have same experience in other countries where we are actually making a lot of difference, and we feel if we can do this successfully in Kenya, why not in Nigeria? But I can tell you Nigeria is difficult. The challenges are much. But with the support of His Excellency and all the others, it's not impossible. We can do it. Next slide, please. Yes, these are just some of the pictures to show you. We also invested heavily in infrastructure. When we get in there, we realize there wasn't proper accommodation, logistics center, and everything that is required to make a system work. You don't expect a staff to give his best if they don't have the right environment, the right remuneration, and other support systems, but also checks and balances. Sometimes when you give so much and you don't manage it properly, people can actually abuse it. So these are just pictures from some of our activities. We have a control center where anywhere we deploy rangers out with the National Park Service, we monitor them in real time to ensure that they don't abuse the privileges they have. We have worked closely to, what we realize is the women are the most impoverished in this part of the state. So what we did after the socio-economic assessment is we hired a company that specializes in training rural women. So these women were put into savings and loan groups where they are able to save their own funds, but they were also trained on business skills and resource management. And we provided a lump sum of funding as interest-free loans. So based on their commitment and their participation, they can access this funding and turn around. They started saving 100 naira, and within 6 months, these women saved over 15 million naira of their own funds. So it's incredible what we can do if we give them the right resources and support. They are now processing shea butter, dawa, kuli. What we also do is all the food that the rangers and other staff consume is purchased from these communities. So the women are now sending their children to school. The husbands are careful about how they talk to them anyhow now, because they are stakeholders as well. So we are very proud of what we are achieving with our women in the communities. It was assumed that leopards are extinct in the park for nearly 20 years. Putting out cameras in the bush, we discovered that these things are still there. There was just a lot of pressure from hunting, from logging, from mining that is making them to hide. We are very proud to see all of these animals are from Gashaka and is slowly coming out. We are also investing in research. We cannot do these things without documenting them and getting them in peer-reviewed articles so that people internationally and people here can have access to it. So we are doing a lot at the same time. This is our ecotourism lodge in Kenya. We actually have a very successful model that is working in Kenya, which is what we are hoping we can do in Gashaka. However, we cannot do it alone. We need the support of every critical stakeholders. Many of the leaders here, Honorable David Four, for example, has been very supportive in how we work with his communities to ensure that it's quite tough. Some people have been logging for 20 years in the park, and you want to tell them to go out now because the state government wants to make money out of it. So it's work in progress. Are we where we are supposed to be? No, but we are far away from where we thought we are going to be in just a short amount of time. Next, please. Yeah, so this is just a map of Gashaka showing some of the parks in Cameroon that we work closely with, but where we also hope we can restock some of the wildlife that we have lost over the years. Next 3 years, we want to engage more working with the ranger as the national park, integrated agriculture. We have currently engaged another NGO that specializes in agriculture called Nuru Nigeria, that is working with 500 farmers, supporting them on smart agriculture. It's not enough, but that is what we can afford for now. But the organization on its own has just secured a big funding as a result of what we have given them to do a lot of work around the park. We are currently providing 50 scholarships to poor families around the park. We are building 3 schools in Sarti, in Mayo Salde, and in Gashaka using the hydrophone machines. So I was quite proud to see that His Excellency is also in the same line of thought as we are. When we started, there was a lot of distrust from the communities. What are these people coming to do here? What is in for you? Are you just doing this for free, or are you coming to destroy or carry things away? But over time, seeing that their children, their husbands, their wives are involved in this, we have actually won the trust of the communities, and we hope that this is even going to get better. There was a lot of challenges getting political will and a lot of other things you see there when we started. That was before His Excellency. Now that is not a problem anymore. That is out of the way. This is the future, what we hope we are going to get. I am particularly very proud of this picture. We just received this ambulance last week through the LGA chairman from His Excellency to support the communities we are working with. So this is really historic for us. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Please can we put our hands together once again, seeing all these developments, trying to make sure that we are moving forward. Thank you, as we've been bringing up the Commissioner of Heritage and Ecotourism, Honorable Joseph Nogombe. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, the Governor of Taraba State, and distinguished guests. I'm here, Nagombe Joseph Titus, the Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Heritage and Ecotourism, under the leadership of His Excellency, Dr. Rokevas. I am bringing a presentation on the status of tourism in Taraba State, looking at the past, the present, and the future projection. And when we talk about tourism, you see the climate, which in the nation should be the best in terms of tourism, in terms of environment. The tourism activities in the past was passive. You will see that the Munyu International Fishing Festival was down, and World Tourism Day, Mingu Festival in Jen was not existing. But when he came, we were able to revitalize this. Under his leadership and the visionary leadership of His Excellency, he revitalized the tourism sector, renaming it to Ministry of Heritage and Ecotourism to focus on ecological sustainability and align with the global climate effort. His Excellency raised the budget of the Ministry of Heritage and Ecotourism from 800 million to 1.3 billion when we came in. And we have implemented 58% of that budget already. And he plans to boost it to no less than 18.3 billion by the grace of God next year. You will see what it will bring to us, making it one of the priority ministry because of the tourism environment we have in Taraba State. In the moving forward agenda, His Excellency looked at collaboration with ministries, also foreign investment. In the entire nation, Taraba became one of the highest visited state by investors in this year. And because of the enhancement of security, that brought us a good image that we raised to that level. Looking at the key impact, tourism is going to be partnership with investment. It will not be a business of government alone. That will bring up for us to set up a global standard, creating job opportunity and catalyzing the economy. When we look at Taraba State, we have 10 tourist sites, and we're going to develop only 4 to give us our projected revenue you will see before. That basket signifies the Kororofa, the Muri, and the Bantu Kingdom. You will see that one later. The development of the Munyu Festival Ground. By the grace of God, the world, His Excellency is looking at developing the Munyu Festival Ground. This is one of the biggest festivals we have in Nigeria, and first in Africa, over 100 years. We have checked this. And when it is developed, by the grace of God, we will generate not less than 500 million naira annually from this festival. And the attendance will increase. This year's celebration, we became the best in the whole nation this year. So it gives a very good attraction. We are going to, His Excellency is determined to build Taraba Cultural Market Museum and Monument in Kona. The site analysis is on the ground, and we're going to have a cultural market that will have a prototype of Taraba village, but in a global location. And when we look at Taraba State, we have 81 tribes in Taraba State, 81 tribes. And if you form it into 3, you will have the Jukun, you will have the Muri, you will have the Bantu. And if we are building museum, it will showcase these 3 forms of the tribes. And that will tell you that every state a Jukun man is, he will be willing to come and see the museum. And anywhere a Bantu man is in Africa, he will be willing to come and see the museum. That will give us 150,000 visitors every year by the grace of God. And every investors that have visited Taraba State, we try to link with them to know what we have in Taraba State. And they are having the interest to visit the state. And when you come, you will see Mambila Hills Eco Resort. When the Annie was talking about ecologists, His Excellency has gone faster than that. By the grace of God, this will be the first ecologist in the Northeast. What you are seeing there is Tunga Sijin in Sadona local government. We are in partnership with UNESCO through African International Documentary Foundation. By the grace of God, the foundation has brought in the sum of 5 billion naira now on the ground. When some people say His Excellency has spent 6 point something billion to travel to war investors, here is one investor and one company has brought in 5 billion to build it. We are not giving them anything, they are building it, and after 25 years, they are handing it over to the state government. They have nothing to do. We have signed the agreement where His Excellency has issued the land and they have finished their design. We are going to have not less than 400 million and 500 job opportunities. This is the Kashimbila Dam. We will encourage you, or we will plead with you to encourage our father, General Tiwa Dantuma, to build a 5-star hotel. He has proposed in Kashimbila Dam. What is going on here? We have met with the manager in the Kashimbila Dam. If he builds it and what is on the ground, we are going to have no less than 500 million from there. Every tourist site we have, every tourist that comes to Taraba is going to pay a tourist ticket. And if you pay a tourist ticket of 2,000 per person, we will have 150,000 will give you 300 million naira automatically. So when you look at Gashaka-Gumti National Park, I want to tell you that Gashaka-Gumti National Park has been in the UNESCO tentative list for almost 20 years. We never know that until His Excellency engaged UNESCO, and we came to discover that it is on the tentative list already. And now by next year, Gashaka-Gumti National Park will be the only site to be submitted to UNESCO for enlistment into the UNESCO World Heritage List. By the grace of God, that will give us everything. But if you see this, I have tabulated all that I have said with the revenue it will generate and the partnership and everything. By 2026, the Ministry of Heritage and Ecotourism will contribute at least 3 billion naira to the state revenue. That will give us 3% of the revenue will come from Ministry of Heritage and Ecotourism. And by 2027, 5% will come from the Ministry of Heritage and Ecotourism. And it will continue to increase every year. That will give us not less than 5,000 people that will have job opportunity after developing all these tourism. What we have on ground, as I've said, we have already started almost all processes with this project by the effort of His Excellency. And last we said that go, you see, we're trying to recommend that we ensure, His Excellency has ensured enabling policies for investors. That means anywhere you have your friend or whatever, tell him you will come and it is a free environment for what? You are going to leverage on BOT, PPP, and also shareholder. Some of these places like Gashaka-Gumti National Park, it has to be on shares, or the Kashimbila on shares, or whatever. If you have your own people. One of the things in Gashaka-Gumti National Park that we don't know is the highest point of the nation, we say, is in Gashaka-Gumti National Park. Because of His Excellency sponsoring these UNESCOs to come, we discovered that the highest point, Chabalwade, is 57.7% kilometers away from Gashaka-Gumti National Park. That means by land act, this is a property of the state. That if we have investors that can develop that site alone will draw everybody because of the whole climate change. Tourism can diversify Taraba economy. We will have no less than 3 billion, and we encourage domestic investment. Some of you here, you are rich, you have the money. We will encourage that you come back. We produce a proposal that will show you the side you will partner with us. By the grace of God, for 100 years, you will be getting your money. Look at the African International Documentary Foundation that we are partners with UNESCO. The project will start by January, and by 18 months, they have finished the ecologies. We want to thank you for listening, and we will partner with us to do better.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Governor of Taraba State, good people of Taraba. The man that just presented now, his name is Na Gombe. So Taraba was so nice that they just picked one of their sons and dashed to Gombe. Na Gombe, Nage Shekara. We'll give you to Gombe, whether you like it or not, that's right. All right, Your Excellencies, the governor did something just now. I was going to come out boldly. This up I was coming now was to boldly come and announce the order of the food. I wanted to come and say dinner is served. Then I was going to say the governor will go first, then the MC will follow, then all of us. But the governor said no. Just tell them that there is enough to eat and drink. I don't put my hand in a plow and look back. So this thing I have started, I want to finish it to the grassroots. So he said, take the question and answer. Take the contribution. I want to sit here and finish it. Let me know where we are getting it right and if there is anywhere we are getting it wrong. I think that is a leader we should clap for again. Then, Your Excellency, one thing has endeared me to you. All your commissioners, imagine their presentation. Very intelligent. So, sir, did you set exam for them before you appointed them? No. Did they write exams? It's an indication that this is not political gift. It's not political settlement. These stuff are done based on merit. Then you see a governor that has eye for merit, will not clap for him. Right now, I don't want to be clapping for him. Then, you and I, Your Excellency, you and I have this one in common. We have eye for merit. The next thing I and the governor have in common is the fact that we are billionaires. The governor is a billionaire. I'm a billionaire. But just like me, I'm a billionaire that need help. The next thing we have in common, with the governor, I and him, is the fact that the governor attended LUEA primary school. Did you attend it or not? That's where you attend. That is where great men are schooled. None of them attend private school. I attended LUEA. The fifth thing we have in common, Excellency, no laugh, this was serious. The fifth thing we have in common, I and the governor, is the fact that the governor is intelligent and I'm intelligent too. In your school days, Your Excellency, I know you used to take first. Me, I didn't take first, not because I can't do it. I'm as intelligent as you are, but I was taking second. My second, now from back. Yes, after number 50, now me, 49. Sir, Your Excellency, I maintain that position. Holiday, my father nearly asked me result. Holiday, as the doctor, my father said, son, how far? I said, Papa, as usual. Oh, 49 again, Abi. They will knock me. I go play. Sir, I failed to the point they started changing my class. I was in A class, I failed. They put me in B, I failed. Put me in C, I failed. Put me in D, I failed. Put me in F, I failed. Sir, they put me in F class. That holiday, I came home with third position. My father saw third. He said, my son, I said, Papa, you took third? I said, yes, sir. You wrote the exam? I said, yes, sir. He ordered my mother. They killed chicken for me. Prepared a table before me in the presence of my brothers and sisters. Your Excellency, as I wanted to start eating my chicken, I don't know what possessed my father. He called me again and said, my son, I said, Papa, now you write that exam? I said, yes. You sure? I said, yes. And you carry third? I said, yes. He said, this one when you carry third, how many are there for the class? I said, we did 3. My father said, out of 3, you take third, I kill chicken for you. Resurrect my chicken now. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, I want to seize the opportunity to announce to us exactly the way the governor wants it. He said, just let them hold on a bit with me for the dinner. I want to really trash this thing to the deepest. So now we are going to be entertaining questions and answers. This is what will happen. If you are directing a question, if it's to the Minister of Tourism, the Commissioner of Tourism, anywhere you are directing a question from, then if you have a contribution, you can also identify. We'll pass the microphone to you. But I think contributions and hello, Mr. Nick. Okay, your Excellency is calling you. Oh, sorry. Who am I? Let me even follow yourself. How can I call who? Mr. Nick, how will 1 minute for contribution is that much? Okay. Your Excellency don't change his mind, sir. Thank you very much for this one. I was almost fainting. So the order is maintained. The dinner is set. The governor will go first. I will follow. What is it now? All right, that is the order. So he said we should blend the dinner and the question and answer. So if you have your question, write it down. If there's a contribution, write it down. We are definitely going to take it. So this is what will happen. Ushers, the plan is we don't want our guests to go and stand for long. So you'll be directing them table by table. But please, start with the governor's table first, then yes, so you start with the governor's table as it goes then. Now the service point are 2, right? So ushers will separate yourself. Okay, so ushers, His Excellency is going that way. So you lead this table that way. Then after him, come and carry me. I was not joking. Good and lucky people of Taraba, you are lucky. You have a listening and working governor. I don't work. Do I need to work?
Thank you so much. His Excellency is leading the table, and of course the former governor of Taraba State, our father, the Dabanyero, Reverend John Inyame, and we have the Minister of Regional. Okay, our father is. Thank you so much. And then we have distinguished Senator Haruna Manu on that table, and we have the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, and of course, the naked wire talking about Senator representing the Southern Zone. Thank you so much, and of course our father Ambassador